Hey guys, welcome back to another Gaming Memories video. Here we are actually taking a look at a 3D platformer style game by the name of Agent Armstrong. This game was actually released in 1997 and it was published by Virgin Interactive on the PlayStation console. So the idea behind this game is that you're playing as like a secret agent and you're trying to stop a known organisation that's primarily just known as the Syndicate from, obviously they're trying to take over the world, so you have to try and stop all of their plans. So you spend primarily most of the game going through the levels and you have to complete the likes of different tasks and objectives and also take out different end of level bosses in order to proceed with the mission and then obviously to move on to the next part of the campaign. The game itself uses like 3D graphics for the majority of its levels, but the characters themselves, both the character that you play as and the enemies, primarily are 2D sprites, but they can move around in the 3D environment. The one thing that's noticeable about this, apart from the likes of the 3D elements, is the beautifully drawn 2D backgrounds, as you can see on the screen. I remember when I first played this game, that was actually one of the things that I was drawn to when I actually first seen it. It is actually a really good game, although in terms of the gameplay style in magazines over the years with reviews, the one thing it did kind of get slated on was the fact is that the gameplay itself was quite repetitive because every mission was pretty much the same. That was the one gripe that a lot of magazines had, but isn't that the case with all games? But aside from that, it is actually a fun game. It is quite long, and I will admit at times it can get a little bit on the repetitive side, but it's definitely good for a quick blast. If you want to play it just level by level, you want to come back to it after a couple of days and play around with it for half an hour. Because sometimes when you're playing through the levels, even though when you get to certain points, even when you have to complete certain tasks, I found from my experience playing it over the years, especially when you first play it, it may not be as evident at the start to really kind of know what to actually do to begin with to actually proceed to the next level, or whether you have to trigger another section of the level for you to actually move forward. So it can actually leave you running around trying to figure things out, and that's where you can get annoyed and maybe just stop the game and move on to something else. But aside from that, if you can overlook the likes of those quirks and just enjoy the game for what it is actually a fun title to actually play, and it's definitely something a little bit different. So it is like it mixes like 2D elements with 3D, plus you can cause a lot of mayhem and chaos, you can blow stuff up, and just, yeah, it's good fun. I remember going back to the very first time that I actually ever experienced or even seen this game and got the chance to play it. It was actually part of a demo disc that came out around the summer of 1997, and it actually was one of the first games to appear on that demo disc. There was like a selection of games, there was like 4 games in total, this being one of them. There was also Rage Racer, there was another game called Speedster, and Little Big Adventure. And I do remember actually myself and my brothers and even a few of my friends, because we used to actually love buying the demo discs. Now this was actually the second demo disc that I'd ever bought for the PlayStation, because we got to a point where when we didn't actually have the PlayStation ourselves, we used to rent it out at the weekends, and we'd actually stock up on a couple of games, mainly the demo discs, because we just enjoyed collecting them, and we'd save up whatever little bit of pocket money we'd actually have during the month, and then make sure that we'd have enough to actually buy the monthly magazine just to see what games were actually on it. Because the cool thing about it is the magazines the previous month would always kind of give you some sort of a hint of what was actually about to appear on the next month's games, so you were always looking forward to seeing what was next. And funnily enough, there was a lot of games on those demo discs that ended up being hidden gems, although in saying that, a lot of the games that were on the demo discs, we never actually owned them, as I'm sure a lot of you guys are the same. You would have played the demos a lot more than you actually ever played or even bought the original games. This happened to be one of those games. I remember when I did first play the demo, I actually really enjoyed it. The one thing I really liked about it was the exploration elements, the fact that you could go in and out of buildings and collect loads of items. Plus, one cool thing I loved about the demos, you always try to get the most out of it, and there was so much playability within those old demos, because you were always trying to find all the hidden secrets or any glitches or anything at all that could give you an advantage to get through the levels. you'd actually spend just hours playing through them. And myself and my brothers and that, we'd all take turns on going through the levels, because someone would pick up on something that you may have missed, and vice versa. So that's what made it even more fun. The demos were actually one of the best for me, best experiences of actually owning the PlayStation, was literally the demo disc, because there was so much fun to be had. But again, not all the games that we actually played did we actually own, but in some cases, like so with this game, you didn't really need to own the full game, because the demo itself, even though it was only just the one level, was actually so much fun, and you played it. I remember us actually playing it for weeks when we first got it, because you were always trying to figure out stuff on it, see if there was anything that you could find or figure out. So it was really, really cool. That was definitely the cool feature of it. Now I think we kind of mixed this around with some of the other games on the discs, because there was only 4 games on that particular disc, as I mentioned, and they were all actually really good. There was definitely some hidden gems there. Now I know myself, like, I actually did a good few years ago, back around 2004, 2005, I did end up picking up this game on eBay. I remember actually getting it fairly cheap. Now this was before the prices of it started to go up, because this game actually does demand a high price now online, and it's very hard to get a game. You'd be lucky if you got a copy, like a half decent copy of this game, for under $20 right now. If you do, you're extremely lucky. As with a lot of these games, because they're becoming so rare, it's virtually impossible to actually find good versions of it, or at least ones that have been well looked after. And any ones that actually have been, you can guarantee you'll pay a high premium to actually get them. But all in all, if you can get your hands on it, even just for something, just even for nostalgia, it's definitely something worth looking into. And it is a fun game. Again, like I said, it can be a little bit on the repetitive side, but if you can look past those little niggles, you will actually have a good bit of fun here. There's definitely plenty here to keep you busy for a little while anyway. So I highly recommend you at least try it out and see what you think for yourself if you haven't played it already. So I'd love to know what your experiences are of Agent Armstrong. Did you actually own it back in the day, or did you actually get to play it on a demo like myself? Be sure to share your thoughts down in the comments below. So if you have enjoyed this video, again, make sure to leave a like. Also be sure to subscribe to the channel, and make sure to hit that bell icon to be updated of future videos. And again, also share the video, as I am going to be creating a lot more videos like this here, re-exploring a lot of these old classic and quirky games, and sharing my thoughts and opinions with everyone. So as always, make sure to keep playing those classic games and enjoying them, and keep those gaming memories alive.